Oh my gosh. I feel good today. I do. You're like, I'm not sure, but I do. I really do. Because we're going to do a video about level 4 factoring trinomials. It's the video I had to make. Tired of people telling me when I'm at the grocery store, I'm trying to buy some cornflakes or something. People are like, Mr. Miller, how do I do those level 4s? And I say, as I put it in my grocery cart, I say, don't worry, I'm going to make a video. And here we are today. All right. Half of that story is true. I couldn't tell you which half. All right, so level 4, if you're in my class, that's what we call it, level 4. Like my physical class, right? Most teachers would say level 4, they would say you're factoring when A is bigger than 1, right? So you can see level 4, you're going to have a number in the front. Now for us, level 4 also means it's going to be a rectangle. And you can see because neither of the edge terms are perfect squares, right? And so we can't take advantage of the symmetry of a square. Let me remind you a little bit about that, right? Because when it is square, we know that these two dimensions have to be the same. And that's helpful for us. With a rectangle, they don't have to be the same. And so it's a little bit more challenging because there's more options. All right. Well, enough said. Let's get to it. I'm going to again show two methods. Reverse distribute and area. And we'll start here with the area method. All right, so let's go get it. Let's go see what this looks like. So what we do is we say 3x squared. We put the lead term there in the top left, and we put the constant term down here. Now, I actually don't know what goes in these two boxes. That middle term is kind of the one that's a little bit more complicated because it's formed from the addition of two terms. And so, but what we do know, which is the same thing we've known before, is that these two terms have to add to negative 19. And that's going to be kind of the big check, right? Because we're going to be able to get this thing to equal negative 14. Ain't no problem. We going to be able to make that 3x squared all day long and twice on Sunday. I almost tripped. I was so excited. But see, having these add to negative 19, it may or may not happen. But if it does happen, that's going to be like the Holy Grail moment, right? That's what I'm talking about. So we know that that's got to be negative 19x. And so right now we're factoring. I ain't getting a late start on this video. Right now we factoring. That's what we're doing because we're thinking. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this happen. 3x and x. So I know I got that at least part right. Hey, if that's a prime number, you're kind of cash money. It's even more difficult if that is not a prime number. So I knew that had to be 1 times 3. Okay, so we got negative 14. Well, it could be 2 times 7 or 1 times 14. One of the two numbers you're multiplying is going to have to be negative. They can't both be negative. So I'm going to go 2 times 7. Now, because I see that as a big negative, I'm going to put well, let me just do the 7 here and the 2. I'm going to make the 7 negative because I feel like that will generate a bigger negative number. All right, well, now let's do this. Again, as I go into this, I actually at this point don't know if it's right. Now, my head has kind of already run the calculation, so I know it's right, or at least I'm very confident. But generally, right now, you don't know that. So let's see. I'm going to go negative 21x. Okay. I'm going to go 2x, positive. That's okay. And now if I add them together, they have to equal the middle term. Oh, and it does. All right, so let them heavens open up. Beautifully done. That's kind of that proud moment, right? That's that moment where you get to say, yo, teach, I got this. The person over here's got this. That's when you can say that. And so Now, this is perfectly modeling this area, and now we know the dimensions are going to be x plus negative 7. So, which I'm going to do is just minus positive 7, and then 3x plus 2. And that is the solution. Excellent. Okay, so to kind of go back, you just make sure that you've got these two money, and then you've got to iterate to check to make sure these two add up. Just to take a little reverse step, it's possible that I could have gotten that wrong. And it's fine, it just would have made this positive, and it would have made that negative, right? That would have been negative, and that would have been positive, and then it would have been positive. And I would have said, oh, that's not right. Okay, let me try something else. And so it's fine if you make a mistake. It's, we've said it before, it's just that byproduct of being human. All right, so let me just erase that so it's not confusing. And let's look at this reverse distribute method. I'm going to erase the answer, so maybe we'll even forget what the answer was. Okay, so a lot of teachers call this foiling. I call when you multiply here, I call it double distribute, right? But regardless, we got to reverse that multiplying process. And it's really the same, it's just kind of a different visual, right? Because you're still going to go here and say, all right, go get me that 3x squared, right? That's what you're going to say. Where's my brown out here? Here it is. You're going to say, okay, I got my 3x squared. And then you're going to go over here and you're going to say, I need to go get me that negative 14. And you might, this, again, you don't know if you're nailing it correctly, but you might say it's 2 and negative 7. We kind of have some insight right now that that's the right answer. And we say, oh, okay. All right, I got those. Now, you're not necessarily done because you have to make sure that the middle terms add up, give you that addition of negative 19. And so that would be this. See, that's the double distribute, right? Because it goes to two places. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. There's the double distribute, right? Because you already went to there. And you get 2x. And you add them together and you're like, hallelujah, teacher! You're looking at someone who can factor. Whoo! My God. Beautiful thing. So I go plus minus. I like to do plus minus, but plus minus is just a subtraction. So you probably want to have it look like that rather than that, but it's all good. It's all good. I ain't worried about it. All right, so our process. Make sure you nail the first term and the third term, and then see if the middle term is correct. And that might seem like guess and check, but it's not, because you ain't guessing some random old numbers, right? It's not like I'm grabbing a random number generator and being like, give me 2 random old numbers. I mean, you're picking numbers that work on the edges. And so you'll start getting better and better at picking those numbers correctly as you start to anticipate that middle term. All right, let's do one more. All right, let's take the jacket off, and you can say, oh no, he's getting serious now. Homie took his jacket off. He's getting serious now. Oh my God. All right, so we're going to start with the reverse distributive method. It's going to be unbelievable. It's going to be unbelievable. So we got to get the 6 first. And here again, 6 isn't prime, right? It's 2 times 3, and it's 1 times 6. Oh, and so it's going to be, could potentially be more challenging. I'm going to start by just saying, okay, I'm going to go get this thing with 3 times 2. All right, feeling good about that. Now I'm here with 40. So 40's got, quite a few options. You got 2 times 20. You also have negative 2 times negative 20 because it is a positive, and a negative times a negative is positive. So one of the things you'll start to feel as you do more and more of these is because that's positive, it's going to have to be two positive numbers. Because if they're both negative, they're going to add to a negative. And if they're both positive, they're going to add to a positive. So I know it's not going to be that one. Now, we have other things here. We've got 4 times 10. And I'm probably missing some. 1 times 40. Also, what do we got? 5 times 8. And so here we go. If I think of 2 times 20, I don't think we're going to add to 34 because you're going to get 3 times 20, which is going to be 60. You might get 2 times 20, which is 40. It's already bigger than 34. Might be 4 times 10, right? It's possible. If I did a real quick check, I would say 30 and 8. 38. Oh, not 34. Okay, so that didn't work for me. Then I'll go to the one that appears to be correct. Is going to be 5 and 8. Not totally sure if the 5 goes there or the 8 goes there. Let's see. That's going to give us, 18? Oh, 24. So 16 plus 8, so you got 24x. And that's going to give us 10. And that's going to work. That's going to get us where we want it to be. I always generally go back regardless, and I just show that I've definitely got the 6x squared. Make sure I definitely got the plus 40. And there we go. We got 3x plus 5, 2x plus 8. Done. Bring on the next one, Mr. Miller. Bring it on. Don't bring that weak stuff in here. But let me show you the area method. I think that both these methods are very similar. And the more, I kind of like that you see both of them. So let's look at this one. Always over here, we're going to put our lead term and our back term. Again, we're just going to assume we don't know what goes in here and here. But we know it adds to 34. We'll keep that in our back pocket. And so you would say, okay, that's 3x and 2x. You know you got to get to 40. And so you're trying different things. You may try 5 and 8, or let's put them in the wrong spot this time. So you might try 5 and 8, and then that's 15, and then that would be 16, and you say, oh, that's not 34. Maybe I'll try 8 and 5. And just like that, we get that to be 24. Okay, and we know this works out. All right, very, very good. Now, some of you might be thinking is like, well, is there a way to actually know what these numbers have to be? Right? Is there a way to actually know what these numbers have to be? There is. It's another step. But right now, what I think is you just get in here and you just practice multiplying. Because what's happening is you're getting faster and faster and faster at multiplying. Right? Because you guess the answer and you multiply it really quick. You guess another answer, multiply it really quick. And then it turns out you hella good at multiplying. Oh, that was very Northern California. I went hella on you. Okay. I think it's time to go for me. But I really, really do. Okay, it's a nice day. Stay hip, be well, and be kind to each other, all right? Okay, everybody. Bye-bye now.